welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Carrie, I'm a 29-year-old vegan living in Bristol in the UK. I've been vegan for over 8.5 years now, and I live with my fiance who is not vegan, but he does eat vegan at home with me. This week's video, I am going to be doing the next shop in the series of can I make 21 meals for £21. So I'm looking to make breakfast, lunch and dinner all for £21 at various supermarkets across the UK. Farmfoods is the shop that I'm going to be visiting this week. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Farmfoods, it is kind of like Iceland in that it's mainly frozen food, but I would say the difference is it is a lot more budget friendly and you get proper deals in there, like proper cheap deals, which is exactly what we want for this series. They also do have a refrigerator section. They have cupboard goods above all of their freezers as well. So I would say there is a good amount of cupboard stuff as well, but the majority, like I say, is frozen. So I am going to show you around Farmfoods and then we'll come home, see what we got and see what I'm planning to make and if I manage to stick to the budget.
So here we are at Farmfoods. You're normally going to find these on a retail park rather than on a high street or anything like that. So let's have a look around. So I'm just giving you an idea of the aisles. So set up very similar to Iceland in that you have the freezers and then you have the other items kind of above the freezers. So we've got a section at the front here which is fresh fruit and veg. So those potatoes, 7.5 kilos for £3.99, what an absolute steal. So we do have some tags here like the mango for 79p where they didn't actually have any mango, but in general they had a really good range of apples, oranges, bananas, potatoes, that sort of thing for reasonable prices. Some of them more reasonable than others, but you can see that massive bag of apples there for 99p. There are also apricots and plums in the fridge, and then if we just have a look across here we can see that there are lots of different sauces above the first lot of freezers here. So again, very similar to Iceland in that they've got different sauces, but some of them again are off-brand and a bit cheaper, like those 3 for £1 ones, 2 for £5 on the massive Sharwoods, 1.49 for Lloyd Grossman, which is pretty good, and then these curry sauces and gravies are vegan. I thought that that was the tag for the Balti sauce, but it wasn't, so less exciting. And yeah, Uncle Ben sauces, the chicken tonight sauces, ragu, which I did end up getting as well, and some more Lloyds, 2 for £3 on a massive thing of Bolognese sauce. Obviously, I got to show you the treats. Jammy Dodgers are accidentally vegan, which is just absolutely delightful as far as I'm concerned. And then bread, we've got rolls, we've got muffins. There were Sunblast pancakes and crumpets which were sold out. So there was just quite a bit sold out here actually. And then they've got the Sunblast bread, which I guess is their own brand of bread. I've never seen it anywhere else. They had a small amount of passata there, but the main event was the 99p chickpeas and lentils. And then we've got tinned veg, 3 for £1 on chickpeas and borlotti beans, which is quite good. Sweet corn for 49p if you're that way inclined. This soy sauce for 99p was a really good buy. It was a big soy sauce for 99p. And if we have a look in the freezers, there's loads of veg, and you can see that they've got deals on 3 for 10 and that sort of thing. This peanut butter was really good, 79p for Whole Earth, and then 2 for £1 on rices, 1.39 Outpro. They've got their own peanut butter for 99p there, which was bigger than the Sun, whichever one I showed you, I can't remember now. And then if we go into the veg, their own veg, a lot of them were 99p for really big bags. You can see they've got some edamame there for 1.29, which for edamame is still pretty good. And just giving you a closer look there. And then they had this mash, which was vegan, which was quite big. Stir fry veg. They had vegetable base mix, which like you start off soups and bologneses with for 69p, which is really good. More of the 99p veg. Now, they were all different weights, so that's something to bear in mind. So some are better deal than others, but 99p for 700 grams of spinach, can't go wrong. Then they had some jars above, some more veg here, 99p for 500 grams of button mushrooms, 600 grams of sliced mushrooms. They had these peppers for 89p, which is 450 grams. They even had pearl onions in the freezer, which I've never seen before. So these are just the rices again, 2 for £1, so 50p each. They also said some Uncle Ben's for 99p next to the jams. And then we go into the pasta. So they had lasagna for 79p for 500 grams. They then had kilo bags of spaghetti and fusilli and macaroni for 99p, and then they had a 3 kilo one as well for £2.99. So if you're needing to buy in bulk, clearly Farmfoods is the place to go. They had deals on their pot noodles, and then they just had sort of the non-branded noodles here as well. They had loads of different types. So again, really similar to Iceland. They had some pasta and sauces here as well, and mac and cheese at the end, salt, pepper. They had Himalayan salt for 99p. And then this just gives you a view here that we can see some fridges. The fridges were kind of scattered. There wasn't a huge amount of vegan stuff in the fridges, to be honest. And then we've again got loads and loads of potatoes in here. Some which were Farmfoods brands, which were the best deals, and then some not. Then we've got beans, hoops, packs of beans, little cans of beans. They had so much. And then they had loads of sauces as well. So like peri peri sauce. These sauces, most of them were vegan other than the garlic mayo. But like that peri peri sauce is vegan, mango chutney obviously, and it does say suitable for vegans and vegetarians clearly on it. So recommend having a look just to make sure. Good deals on ketchup. They had these bao buns, which say veggie but were vegan by an ingredient. Same with the veggie gyoza. I'm just showing you there the ingredients that they were vegan, even though it didn't specifically say so. And then they also had some spring rolls, which were a good deal as well. A few different types, but the best ones were these 99p 16 pack at the top there, which is pretty good. And then we've got more chips. These are the more branded chips, but again, some pretty good deals, under £2 for branded chips. And then you've got some deals of 2 for £5. I would say the deals of like 2 for £5 or 3 for £10 or whatever, less prominent than in Iceland, I've got to say. But their own brand of chips, really, really good. They had these paprika wavy chips, which I was slightly tempted by as well, and garlic and herb as well. So they were only £1.49 and they looked pretty cool, but they look more like a crisp, I suppose. They had loads of fizzy drinks. If you're into fizzy drinks, this is a place for you. They also then had some vegan cereals. I did look at this Marvel cereal, but I couldn't figure out if it was vegan or not, so I left that. And then they've got porridge, 99p for 8 sachets, which is great. They had nuts, 1.99 for all different types of nuts, which was really good. And they also had these dates as well for a really good deal. I've got no idea how they taste, but 99p for 400 grams, I thought that was good. And they're pitted as well. And then I'm just showing some pita bread, some bake in the oven breads as well. And they had tins of fruits, but there were only a few here really. And I don't think the value was amazing on those. And then desserts. So there was vegan Ben and Jerry's, but it was out of our budget. They had garlic bread. Both of those were vegan, the baguettes and the slices. They then had vegan magnums as well. So you had the vegan classic, the vegan raspberry swirl. And then if we look in the next freezer, they had some lollies as well. So they had these rocket lollies, which are my personal favourite, but they also had orange and strawberry ice lollies. I was quite tempted by the strawberry ones. And then snack-wise, I looked at these Golden Wonder bacon crisps, which were vegan, but the rest weren't. Just showing that we've got some frozen fruit here as well. So I'm getting distracted by snacks and coming back. But lots of different frozen fruit. And these were 3 for £6. So this was like the one sort of like big deal that I saw. And then I just wanted to show you that they have lots of Astonish products in here, all marked vegan. They also had some Fabulosa as well.
Here we go. So I've been to Farmfoods today and I would describe this as a massive haul. So I am just going to try and make this as efficient and quick as possible because we've got a lot to get through. So the first thing that I have at the front here are these cherry tomatoes. There are 250 grams of them. These did not have a price on in the fridge, so we just hoped that they would be within budget. And these were only 39p for 250 grams of cherry tomatoes. They look really nice as well, so very, very happy with that. Next thing that I got fresh, because most of this is frozen, are these 3 red onions, and these were 89p for 3 of them. Next, I got these snack apples. These are, I suppose, kids' version of apples, so they're a bit smaller. They're Pink Lady, which is so nice, but Pink Lady are normally really, really expensive, so don't treat myself to these often. But these were only £1.29, which I thought was a really good deal. And then I think this is the final fresh veg and fruit are these washed white potatoes. Says super value on them. They are super value. 2 kilos here for 99p. And they're from the UK. The variety is called Nectar, which I've never heard of before, but excited to try those. Okay, so now we'll go on to cupboard items. So if I start with this big sauce here, this is a Kebab House garlic sauce. You might be thinking, well, that's clearly not vegan, but it's actually one of the ingredients vegan, but it also states suitable for vegetarians and vegans on here, which is really helpful. And this was only 99p for 500 mils. This is a classic takeaway recipe, apparently. I've never tried this before, so excited about that. Next thing I got was this jalfrezi curry sauce, 375 grams. It serves 3 to 4, and this was 99p. Next thing I got was another sauce, this Ragu Original Smooth Bolognese sauce. This was £1.49, and there is 500 grams here for £1.49. Next, these Branston beans. This wasn't a very good deal. They did have 3 for £2 on these, but we didn't need 3, we only needed 1, and this was 99p. So definitely you can get better price on beans elsewhere, but I needed 1, so I got 1. Okay, next. This is honestly such a steal for both of these. So I've got a kilo of dried chickpeas here. So these are going to expand and create even more food, more weight once I have cooked these and soaked them. 99p for a full kilo of chickpeas. I've never seen a price like that before, so I'm so pleased with those. And then a kilo of red split lentils, again, only 99p. I've just never seen a price like that before. So good. So that's that. And then just on top here, these Golden Wonder bacon streaks. These were 99p, and I had enough budget to get a snack option this week. So that's the snack option. Under here is this big 800 grams of wholemeal medium bread. This is the Sunblessed brand, which I've only ever seen in Farmfoods before, and this was 75p for 800 grams. Next, these sliced mixed peppers. There are 450 grams of these, I believe. Can't actually see. Yeah, 450 grams for 89p, which is really good. Sliced mushrooms. This is 600 grams for 99p. I've then got this 700 gram bag of whole leaf spinach, and this was 99p. So 99p for the spinach. Stay on the frozen for now. Got this bag of plant nuggets, which are Farmfoods' own vegan nuggets, and these were £1, and there are 15 in there. We've got a dessert this week as well because we had so much budget. So I just got these rocket lollies. There are 8 in here, and these were £1.29 for these rocket lollies. Got this big bag of French fries for only £1, so there's 800 grams in here for £1. Got this garlic bread, there are 10 slices in here for only 99p, and it clearly says plant-based on it as well, so that's good. And then final item is a kilo of macaroni. They didn't have any smaller bags of pasta, but a kilo for 99p. So this is the biggest haul that I've done so far for the £21 for 21 meals, so £1 per meal series. And actually this came in under budget because we'd over budgeted for these tomatoes, which ended up being so cheap. So in total for all of this food, I spent £19.88. And that includes branded items like that, like the pink lady apples, which I wouldn't normally get. We've got a snack, we've got a dessert, we've got garlic bread to go with pasta. Like, honestly, I just cannot stress enough how excited I am for this week. Okay, so I am just going to prep some chickpeas, and then I can refrigerate them, freeze them, make them into hummus, like whatever I want to do with them, and just get a good amount cooked. I'm going to use my Instant Pot again because it means I don't have to soak the chickpeas. It's just a lot easier, to be honest. So I am going to put 4.5 cups of chickpeas into here, and I just use this cup, and then 12 cups of water. On reflection, that is the majority of this bag, so I don't know whether to take some out or not. Yeah, I might take a cup out because this seems excessive. This is what it looks like in the pot. That is 3.5 cups of chickpeas and 9 cups of water. And now I'm just going to seal it and put it on high pressure for 40 minutes. There you go, so I set that to 40 minutes, and it's going to take about 15 minutes, I think, ish, to come up to pressure. So about 15 minutes on this on state, and then 40 minutes pressure cooking, and then I'm going to let it slowly release, which is where I don't vent it for 10 minutes. Okay, so I let it slow release and turned it off. This is what they look like. You can see some have lost their skin a little bit, but that's okay. So yeah, quite a lot in there. And I'm just gonna leave it to sit for a while. I'm gonna keep some of that water to help me make some hummus, along with obviously oil and seasonings. But yeah, got loads and loads of chickpeas pre-cooked now, which is going to be very helpful for the week ahead. I've now decanted all of the chickpeas, so there's 200 grams in here. There is 400 grams and then some water in there. Same in there, and I don't know how much is in there, but basically plenty made, and there's also loads still left, but I don't think I'm going to need to cook up any more this week. I think this is going to be it, so stay tuned to see how I use them. Okay, I've got oil, garlic and salt, and then I've got my chickpeas in chickpea water as well. So I'm just gonna pour the whole thing in here. And then I'm gonna add some oil. Some salt, and some garlic. And I also read that to get hummus smooth, you should add an ice cube in. And this is what I've ended up with, a big bit of hummus. So I'm gonna have hummus on toast, maybe a couple of sliced cherry tomatoes. That's gonna be my breakfast this week, and then I might have an apple with breakfast, or I might have it as a snack, I'm not sure yet. Here we go, so breakfast, homemade hummus on toast with some cherry tomatoes, and then I've just put some black pepper and herbs on, and then yeah, I've got loads of hummus for the week, and I can always make up some more if I need to. So there we go.
I did end up snacking on the apples rather than having them with breakfast. And I snacked on the crisp too, so there was enough for 6 portions. So next I'm meal prepping some lunches. So I took my cooked chickpeas along with half the bag of mixed peppers, and then I added seasonings to it. So cayenne pepper, garlic, salt and pepper. And then baked them for about 20 minutes. So this is what they looked like when they came out of the oven, and the chickpeas were crispy and just so tasty and delicious. I love having chickpeas like this. And then I just cooked up some pasta. So I weighed it first of all, and then just added some boiling water obviously to my pan and let that simmer and cook, and this took about 10-11 minutes. And while my pasta was cooking, I chopped up some cherry tomatoes as well, just into these little halves. And then what I did was added the pasta once I'd run cold water through it so that it was cool. I added the kebab garlic sauce, a decent amount as you can see, and then I added in my tomatoes, and then I added in some of the chickpeas and the peppers all roasted together as well. And then I gave that a really good mix to make a pasta salad sort of vibe. And this is how it ended up being. Really good. Next up is the jalfrezi. So I am starting by just cutting up one of my red onions. So I'm chopping and then dicing this into small pieces. I'm rubbish at this part. It's just so it's not big chunks basically. And then I go in and peel and chop my potatoes as well into small pieces. So I'm leaving about half the bag of potatoes here. So cutting up and peeling half of them. And then here's the kind of size that I did. Popped them all onto a pan, and this is 3 portions worth, by the way. So I added some oil and then some garam masala before I went in with some cayenne pepper, gave a generous amount of that, and then some cumin as well. Cumin's probably my favourite spice when it comes to stuff like this, so good. And then finally in with the salt as well, before I gave all of that a really good mix around to make sure that all of the potatoes were coated. And then I am left with something that looks like this before they go into the oven. And then next, I'm going to start by frying up the red onions, and that's just until they're translucent before I then added some boiling water and a stock cube. I added more water after this as well, but this was just to get it going. And then I took my red lentils, and I don't know how much I put in here, but I want to say it was about 200 grams again, and gave that all a really good mix, and then just let it cook for about 6 or 7 minutes before I added in the jalfrezi sauce, and then that needed to simmer with the sauce for about 15 minutes. This is what the potatoes looked like when they came out of the oven, and then I just added some of my pre-cooked chickpeas to the curry as well and gave that a good mix. This is what it looked like. I forgot the spinach, but I did add it in when I had leftovers. Okay, I am going to be making a bolognese with red lentils and vegetables and the pasta sauce that we got. And we've got macaroni pasta, but that's okay. Like, I don't mind the shape. So the first thing I'm going to do is just weigh out some red lentils. So I'm going to weigh out, I think, 200 grams of red lentils. There are actually no cooking instructions on the lentils themselves, which is great. But I think it's about 20 minutes that they need to cook for. So I'm going to add some water, add a vegetable stock cube, and then just let that simmer. I remember I've got these garlic bread slices, but they only take 10 minutes. So I'm just going to air fry those for the last 10 minutes. I decided to do 5, and then there's 5 left. So 2 for me, 3 for my fiance. Cut up 1 red onion to have in the sauce. And then I'm going to add some spinach and some mushrooms from the frozen veg that we have too. Okay, so this is what I have to add. I've got the red onion in the pan. Then I've got the frozen mushrooms and 3 lots of this spinach, which is just going to be added in as well. Also just weighed out my pasta. So got that, then going to add water to it and bring it to the boil and cook for 10 minutes. This is what it's looking like, pasta boiling. This just turned on, so it hasn't cooked yet. And then lentils simmering, and then I have got in the air fryer the garlic bread. There is lentils and sauce, and then I've got our 2 portions here. Just going to give it a good stir and then plate everything up. Okay, here we are, dinner. That looks good to me. Piping hot. Finally, we have the beige meal, which obviously I didn't film prepping because all I did was put the chips and the nuggets in the air fryer and heat up the beans in the microwave. So I had this for 2 dinners, and the beans were then finished, but I still have 2 portions of chips and 1 portion of nuggets left in the freezer as well. So this went a long way and still had leftovers. And I can't forget the rocket lolly dessert every night and still had 1 left over as well.
That was everything that I made and got from Farmfoods. As you could see, we were actually adding additional things in, like the garlic bread, the crisps, and the rocket lollies as well, that we didn't necessarily need but had budget for, and it still came in under £20. So this has probably been, I might say it's been my most successful video to date in showing value for money, because we have tons of food left over. We have 600 grams of red lentils left in the cupboard, which is unreal. You can use it like I've shown in this video, but in a future video, I'd quite like to try and make a lentil tofu with it, which I've seen other people do, which I'd be really keen to try. And we have about 400 grams of chickpeas left, as well as some prepped and cooked in the freezer too, so probably about 500 grams all in all, half the packet. We still have 6 portions of pasta left, so we've got loads of that macaroni left as well. We've got 4 potatoes left. We don't have any of the sauces left. I've got half of the frozen bag of mushrooms, half the frozen bag of peppers. We've still got 1 red onion. As you can see, I could have made this last longer than the 7 days that I've given it, and definitely made more meals than the 21 meals that I chose to make. I obviously chose to have 1 breakfast. If I'd used the full £21 budget, then I could have had options with 2. But to be honest, I just didn't really need that. I have the same breakfast each day. I've spoken about this before, and I just didn't feel that there was any need. The hummus I made without tahini, obviously, ended up being really good. So I added 2 ice cubes to the hummus before I blended it, and it was really smooth. So I would really recommend adding a couple of ice cubes when you're blending to get that smoothness, but it was really tasty. And I love a savoury breakfast as well. Normally in these videos I end up having sweet breakfast because they're just a bit more budget friendly and less ingredients, but having a savoury breakfast each morning really made me feel full and satisfied for the day ahead as well. As you can see, it was protein heavy again with the lentils, with the chickpeas. We had the nuggets as well, so I did have a couple of beige meals in there. And I always think the day you go shopping, you want a beige meal, you want something to like whack in the oven and just not have to think about when you get back from shopping, which is exactly what I did with that meal, so that was really helpful. And then the baked beans on the side. Honestly, I just think there were so many options in Farmfoods that it might even be worth doing a second video there at some point to show even more options, because this was not limited. I could have done any number of meals, and this is what I just decided to do, obviously. I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you have a Farmfoods near you and if you've been in or not, because this is a shop that I have had around for a little while, but I didn't start going to until recently, and I just can't believe that I didn't, because the deals are so good. And if you think about as well, like I had to get a kilo of pasta, so that, you know, made things more expensive. Like, did buy in bulk because that was all they had. If you were doing a monthly challenge of budget, like I could be carrying over so much more to the next week, and Farmfoods would be perfect for it. So yeah, let me know if you want me to potentially do a part 2 in Farmfoods at some point as well, because I would love to show you that. I think Farmfoods is coming first. I haven't got a specific scoreboard, but maybe I should introduce that in future, or when I finish this series of videos, but I definitely think Farmfoods is top. So far we've done Iceland and we've done M&S and then we've done Farmfoods, and Farmfoods absolutely wins, hands down. So if you liked this video, please do let me know. I would love to chat with you in the comments. Leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't already. There is a new hype function. Thank you to those who hyped my last video, I really appreciate it. But if you do feel like giving this video a hype too, I would love that. I would be so grateful, and I shall see you next week. Bye.